am so sorry. Kara kopa chatara le phone. I forgot I'm live. It's fine. So sorry, my loves. If Tumelo could join us again, oh my god, I am so sorry. It looks like the phone needed to cool down, so yeah, I really wasn't expecting this. I am so sorry. But yeah, we were almost towards the end of the beautiful conversation that I'm having with Tumelo over her experience in the money medicine work that we got to do together. How Tumelo is making unfamiliar money. I can't wait to find out. Is she making unfamiliar money and all the things? Yes, let me just tell her that I'm live. And then she can join in and we'll continue the conversation and wrap up. Yeah, it looks like Tumelo is here. If you could join us again to me. Okay, just letting you in now. Shoo. I'm so sorry we got cut off there.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. Okay. So where were we? We were talking on some of the practical things that we got to do in the work. You talked about we talked about I'm trying to remember what we talked about before the money requirements. We talked about, yes, creating value for your program and working on the offers that you are having as a money medicine woman, and just getting clear on the value that you bring so that you can get comfortable with being paid for those. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
If you can continue.
Okay. Yes, yeah. So it was work around the bank account and then the value of the work.
Yes.
And then the third one, which we were on, was having a requirement list, right? And essentially this means having an existing list of things you would spend your money on, right? So if,
Yeah.
for example, your goal is 10K, which is the goal we work towards. It was 10K pulas, right? Which is like
Yeah.
1,000, approximately 1,000 US dollars, right?
Yeah.
And so the exercise that we did was creating a requirement list for 10,000 pulas. And yo, guys, big thing is at the moment when we did the exercise, I was making so little, and so and so I was making so little and also had such a huge amount of debt. Well, I don't know if it was really huge, but it was huge for me, right?
Yeah.
And also because of my wiring around money. The first iteration of that exercise was a huge struggle for me, you know?
Yeah.
First, I didn't know what to do with 10K. I mean, this was one of the things that emerged, right? Like, here's a woman who says she wants to make, I think at the time when you asked me, the first figure that came up was 30K, right? 30K pula. And so, yet, here was a woman who says she wants to make 30K, yet she doesn't know what to do with 10K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So that definitely is a sign that we need to do some work around this, right? And so the first instance of doing that exercise was a huge struggle for me. Yeah, I still look at it now and I'm like, I feel so much compassion for that version of myself, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, and then I think I redid the exercise probably like a month or 2 months later after the first instance. And this was once we had done like quite a lot of healing work, right? And that second list was so beautiful. I mean, I still look at it. There's just like a very balanced, allocation of funds, between like savings and investments, debt repayment. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. Now I used to hear this, right? Like the woman we were speaking about earlier, Vangile Makwakwa, used to talk a lot about how it's possible to save when you're paying debts. I was like, and like, what's this woman talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yet, I haven't done this money work. That is my experience. My savings have been growing, from the probably the first month that we started doing this work. And I started with very, very little, guys. So yeah, that's also what I learned, that it doesn't matter how much you're making, if you just commit to 10%, right? Yeah, but
Yeah.
my point is, my savings have been growing at the same time as I'm paying my debts, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest gifts from doing that requirement list, and maybe the expert will also share what's happening, underneath. What I have
Yeah.
experienced for myself is that once you have drawn that requirement list of the goal that you're working towards, your nervous system kind of gets used to, you become acquainted, you become familiar with that
Yes.
figure. All right.
Yeah.
So the reason why there are these programs of I blew it, where somebody, wins like 5 million and then they blow it, it's because they don't know what to do with it. Or maybe their nervous system was not well acquainted with that such figure, and it shocked the system, right? And it had to, the own trauma and pain took over, and weird things happened to the money. So I have seen, for me, just doing that exercise, got my nervous system well acquainted with that 10K figure, such that when it did happen, and it has happened, we were just chilled. It was like, oh, okay, hi 10K. I've been waiting for you. I know what to do with you, right? Come, I love you. So
Amazing.
yeah, it was such a beautiful, beautiful experience. And yeah.
I love that. I love that. It is so true. One, and this will be so relevant for
Yes, you're back
Are you
now.
able to hear me?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. So one of the things that are so profound in doing money medicine work is that, like Tumi has mentioned, there is where we get to convince your nervous system that it is safe to have money. And we simplify it for your nervous system that, yes, you can actually make this money. Like, your financial goal is not crazy. It makes sense that sorry, I'm having to check my phone because I don't want anything to happen while
Okay.
we're doing this. Okay.
Yes. All right. We'll wait.
Just a moment, right? So there is where we simplify it for your nervous system. It could be through, creating value in your program and showing you that, yes, this program is worth it. And of course, it makes sense that you're pricing it at this much or you're charging at this much. And then also, like Tini says, the requirements have a way of regulating your nervous system and making you feel like, of course, you do realize that you actually need more money than you've been thinking. Because sometimes we're stuck at the same income because there's a part of us that feels like, wait, what do you mean you want 50K or 30K, you are already surviving, you know? You're already surviving. Sometimes we even covered with be grateful. At least you are good. And so it's like there's a part of your nervous system that feels like, I don't understand what you mean. You want more. It doesn't make sense. So thank you for just highlighting that to me. Yes.
I love this. So I am now going to be creating a requirement list for my next goal. That's
And I deeply
been long.
you this is bad, guys, but so sorry. You did mention that you managed to, you know, to reach your financial income goal of 10K. Let's talk about stepping into that unfamiliar path. This is a woman who went through a negative balance, a period of negative balances. Now she's seeing the money coming. Are you, that is so unfamiliar for you. What is happening? And how are you experiencing all this?
Oh my word, guys. We've been to the trenches and back, right? And this is the beauty of healing work, you know? And I mean the trenches of digging deep, you know, into our pain and our trauma and looking at the things that are making it painful, you know, difficult to make money. Sure. So one of the, you know, like the topic of this conversation is unfamiliar money, right? So for me, definitely one of the unfamiliar, or one of the things that has been unfamiliar about the money that I'm getting to enjoy having done this work is just that financial goal of making 10K through my divine gifts as a spiritual healer, running an online business, right? That's, I would say that is unheard of for my ancestors, right? For this Black girl in this corner of the world, right? To make that money through my gifts, right? And to also make it in the way in which I made it. Like if we take apart what like the components of that 10K, you know, it's also something quite unfamiliar, you know, I would say, especially for my lineage, for the women in my lineage, right? And even for me, because when I stepped on this path, for sure you are like holding courage and hope as a dreamer that I hope I'll make it, right? But you're never really, really sure, right? And so something that I've had to reckon with quite recently with my inner child was like, are you serious? It's a 1 followed by 4 zeros. Like, did we really make that that amount, right? It's also unfamiliar because of the shall I say, the unfamiliar or revolutionary way in which I do my work. You know, I work from home, mostly just in the house. If my mom would even wonder, is she really working or just sleeping, right? And so for me, it's also just been testament that our dreams can come true, right? And just how unfamiliar is that in a world where most of us are conditioned out of that belief, you know, that our dreams can come true. So it's definitely like uncharted seas, the path less traveled. It's definitely unfamiliar, you know? And I feel like, I've probably deviated from the initial question of just how was it to make that 10K. It definitely it although I had my requirement list, it caught me off guard, you know. I wasn't expecting 10K that month, right? It was a hectic month, super busy. This was August, right? And like at the end of the month, you know, I looked at my numbers and my calculator was giving me like 5 digits. And I was like, whoa. Yo, guys, I cried so much. I need to tell you, I cried because 10K is also, I mean, it's a significant number in the coaching industry, like for people who do work like us, right? But for me, it was also a very significant number because that's how much my gross salary was when I left my employment, right? And so the beauty of it was also that I have finally replaced my salary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a deeply affirming moment for me to say, that dream, that urge, that impulse that drove me to leave my job, and to want to do this, it was real, and this is possible, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll put a comment there.
I am deeply celebrating you. I celebrate that. And this will really help someone understand what we mean when we say unfamiliar. For Tumelo to have moved from, a job where she worked 30 days and showed up every day from 8 a.m. And I don't know if maybe sometimes you'd have to put in the extra hours and knew that I'm
Yes.
waiting for 30 days to receive money, to then have been able to create a life in her business where now it's like anytime someone can go to Tumelo Moreri's website and book her
Yes.
and pay her for the money. She's now able to replace that salary. And I would say that now it's like you're at a point where your nervous system and all the parts of you that were resisting, making money in this way are now in agreement to say that we get to be paid in the reality that suits us. I can wake up from home, have my own
Definitely.
schedule, and do the most impactful work for men and women, do the purposeful work,
Yo.
serve with something that is within me, that is so natural to me, and I get to be paid for it. I celebrate this deeply, and this is
Yes.
something that I desire for a lot of people to realize that
Thank
money
you.
money is a resource that can access you anyhow. You just have to choose which way you want, right? And sometimes for someone it could be they could still be working, but they have a gift that they
Yes.
know they're doing, and they could still create that extra income with, with that gift. So this is deeply, deeply, empowering and affirming of this part.
Mm,
So,
mm,
to me, what would you say to someone who right now is like, I'm hearing all these beautiful things, but they have this deep fear of investing? They probably feel like, ah, no fun charges this much. What I have,
mm.
and it's not even sometimes about the money. It's just about I have other things that I'm doing, and I just feel like I don't have time or something. Just where someone resists to put in the work, although they realize that some of the things you've been talking about apply to them, like some of the experiences you had pre the money work. What would you say to this person? Right? Yeah.
Yes. I would say the work pays for itself so many times more. And I'll break that down. Yeah.
Mm,
Um, so this work was already paying for itself while I was working with Nonofan, right? We've only spoken about the 10K month, but what we haven't also spoken about was that in the time of working, during the time, those 14 weeks of working with Nonofan, my income had increased more than 5 times, right? This means we take the initial figure I was making at the beginning and we multiply it by 5, all right?
yeah.
And right now it's more than 10 times. Like, yeah, I'm making more than 10 times what I made when I started working with her. Like, yeah. And this gets to be our reality, you know? So so the work, like this work is an investment that pays off in perpetuity, you know? Yeah. And like this past weekend, I was actually thinking of a relative who I know needs this work, right? And she has a car that she could sell. So in my head, I was, yeah, just engaging in dialogue. I was like, they probably need this work more than they need the car. This could, be the experience of somebody who's listening, so I'll just share. So if they were to sell the car, it's a car that they could sell for like 500K, and they just take a part of that to pay for the work with Nonofang, right? This work with Nonofang will enable them to buy so many more of those cars that they sold to pay for this work. Like, that's how radical this work is. I usually say it's a legacy work, right? This means it's not just for you, it's for your descendants, it's even for your ancestors, right? So we, like, I guess once you understand the value of this work, right? You get to see how an investment in this. I know it's getting dark on my end.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, but my light is on. It's just weird.
It's really not that bad.
Okay, yeah. But this is one of, at least for me, this has been like one of the greatest investments I could have made. Yeah, even by the time you complete the work, you'll realize that it's worth so much more than the figure that Nonofang has put on there. Because guys, I'm saying I'm currently making 10 times, more than 10 times what I made when I started working with her. You can just do the math in your head, right? And she and I were chatting the other day and talking about how it doesn't matter. Like, your starting figure does not matter. Even if you're making 10,000 right now, you too can increase that 10 times, right? Because money does not know numbers, right? Abundance does not say you have 1 million, so we can't give you 10 times. No, that's not how it works, right? So it's literally like the urgency of this work. It's like anything can wait, because you're going to get to it and so much more, right? Yeah. Nunafang, I have a few things to share around the unfamiliarity of this money before we
Wonderful.
close. Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay.
I was just grabbing my charger. I don't know
Okay.
if probably because I had you join me, that's why my battery today went like crazy.
Possibly,
But
possibly.
but I managed to grab the charger. Well, good. Oh, okay. Yes, do share
Yeah.
more.
Okay. Yes, because the topic is unfamiliar money, right? So
Absolutely.
you've already mentioned how, whereas previously I got paid only once a month, by my employer. Now in this life of mine, with my with working hours that I designed on my terms, I get to be paid more than once a month. That's definitely unfamiliar, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. On this path, I could literally, the one time I was driving, we had a funeral in Madinari. I was driving and a client books as I'm driving, right? We make a stop in Mahalapi and I'm like, oh, there's a booking, right? So that gets to be our reality.
Love it.
Right?
Love it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you're just sleeping and then somebody pays you. You're like, wow, hello.
This
Right?
is right.
Yeah, obviously this is not like okay, because this is a safe space. We know it's not boastful. We are talking about the things that are possible for us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, we also speak about the unfamiliarity of having. What I also didn't mention was that during the period when I was working with Nunofang, my business revenue was increasing every month. So
Wow.
this is synonymous to getting a raise every month, guys. Okay? Like, where
Yes,
in the
yes, that's
world?
so true.
Yeah. Like, where in the world do you get a raise every month, right? And there's also been a pattern for me that at the end of each year, there's this lump sum that comes, right? I don't know if that symbolizes bonuses and stuff, but yeah, there's been that pattern for me. And the other, I guess, the biggest, most recent one is of an opportunity I recently got where um, where I'm being paid in one day what I used to be paid in a month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that previous employment job that I had, where I was getting paid X per month, the other unfamiliar thing that I'm experiencing in my life right now is that I can now get paid X for only one day of work.
1 day of work.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So, yeah, like this work is revolutionary, guys. And I know that often, sometimes maybe it can sound magical, right? Like, I don't know. I
Mm,
don't know how it sounds for you guys, but it's very practical work. When you do engage in it, you get to see, quite intimately your own inner wounding and the things that kept you from making the money. And you also
mm,
get to, I mean, to do the practical exercises of it and also get to see quite practically the results that you have, right? Yeah.
mm.
One last one, I guess, is
There is so much.
of of course there is. Like, guys, and this is just from 14 weeks of work, right? I'm
Yeah.
excited for you all who are gonna sign up for the results you're gonna get.
Amen.
Yeah, so as responsible business women, we need to build like savings for our
Mm,
businesses, right? For
yeah.
those emergency moments, right? So
Mm,
one of the biggest things that has come out of the work that we did was, yeah, as I shared earlier, that my savings have been growing, to match. Probably right now they match like maybe 6 months. So
mm,
with my savings, I can cover like 6 months of basic expenses for my business right now, right? Yeah. And
mm,
so just like earlier this month, there was a hiccup with PayPal. I couldn't like make a transfer from my PayPal where most of my funds were held, right? And so
mm.
because of those savings, I was able to, like tap into my savings to meet an emergency. Which was beautiful, like previously I would have been in like, I don't know, losing my mind.
And
But
having to
because
think
of
of borrowing money.
like, do I now like approach my mother and tell her stories? No, like I love that. Like one of the things I was grateful for, I was like, I like this work has helped me become the woman who goes to the bank and says, "Hey, I need this much," as opposed to,
Mm,
running around and like just losing my mind. So that is
mm,
like something really, really beautiful to experience. And within a few days, I had resolved my emergencies and I returned the funds that I had
wow.
gotten from my savings account.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm really, really grateful, Nunafan, for the
You
work that we did
oh,
together.
thank you so
Yeah.
much. You have generously shared so much on the changes that you experienced and the beautiful, beautiful, achievements that you've had. You know, so many, so many. You could be driving, someone is booking you, so you are more receptive of money. You were able to meet your financial goal. I see a woman who's also managed to create the reality in which she decided how she makes money. And now the money she used to work for 30 days, she can now be paid for in 1 day.
Is this my
It's awesome.
life?
And I love that to
Yeah.
me, you are now able to save for your business expenses. This is just so
Mm.
beautiful, even for people who are right now in the stages of that business where they feel like, it's not working. Because when you started this conversation, we were like, there was a time when it wasn't working. And to
Yeah,
see you reap
yes.
the fruits of the work that you intentionally put in. One thing about me, where there was a point when we were doing, I don't, if it's okay, you're still here. There was a time when we were doing
Yes.
a mapping of your timeline with money, right?
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and
mm.
we got to realize that to me has always been someone who is a manifester of money. Like she actually has the ability to hold so much money. However, you will find that she was experiencing a different reality in her business. So this is to say, sometimes in your business, when you are not seeing that money, it doesn't mean that this is something that is unavailable for you, because your timeline was showing that you're someone who actually easily can make money, who can manifest money. And the energetics that we worked on within the money medicine work, all they did was like activate the thing that was already there. I believe that a lot of us, even Black people, we come from lineages that have been gifted with so much abundance, with so much riches, but sometimes it feels like they are not able to land and physically materialize in our lives because of the wounds that we've spoken about, right? And when we now do the work, we get to access what was already there. I feel like you are accessing what was always available for you, and you will obviously access even more, because in as much as sometimes we talk about our lineage, curses and some of the distortions, honestly, there are greater gifts that exist within our lineages. Our ancestors did not just leave us with curses, they left us with greater gifts. Like right now within you, God has placed so many gifts, and it's important to step into being conscious of that, so that you can just experience this beauty that even to me is experiencing. Like, I am in awe of your journey. And I love it for you that you get paid anytime. I love it for you that you are creating money in lump sums, and I know it's only going to grow. I love it for you that you have savings in your business. I am deeply celebrating the woman you are, because I witnessed you, from the time you were in your business and things were not working. So thank you for just generously sharing so much with the beautiful people that are listening, and those who are going to be hitting that replay button, right? So 2 words to describe pre-work and 2 words to describe you right now, and the life that you are living. 2-3 words, just like, this is how I was feeling before, now this is where I'm at. And then we end this conversation.
Before, distraught, strangled. I was feeling strangled.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can relate.
And like dry, like a where there's a river, and then if that river dries, the ways in which like the soil beneath like cracks up,
Yeah.
like that dry. Yeah. Right now, nourished, supported, and I'm definitely an abundant woman. Yeah.
Love it. The shift says it all. Strangled, distraught, dry, and now you are nourished. You're an abundant woman and supported. Amazing. Tumi, thank you so much for taking the time to come share with the people how you have experienced the money medicine work. And honestly, when someone hears your testimony and the experiences, I know it doesn't matter whether they enroll immediately or whether they don't, but I know they've been deeply impacted and shifted by just hearing your story, and it's going to represent so much affirmation for the journey that they're on. This entrepreneur who maybe is in a state where they feel like, it's not yet working. Can I really make that financial goal that I need to shift into? So thank you so much for sharing, and I deeply celebrate you, and all the best in your great achievements. May God grant you according to everything that you desire. I do want to remind you that yes, money medicine work, 16 weeks of money medicine work now via Sacred Abundance Mastermind is open for enrollment. So for you who has listened to me and said, oh my God, now I understand what Nonofang is always fussing about when it comes to money medicine work, and you feel ready and called to now enroll and sign up for this beautiful program, do click on the link in my bio and start applying now. I will be so honored to work with you, and also I definitely trust that you will experience your own version of what it means to tap into the unfamiliar wealth, the unfamiliar money. I look forward to working with you, and I pray that you move through whatever is holding you back, whatever fears that you may have, so that you can finally bet and invest in yourself, because you are so worth it. You are so worth it. Your becoming is of high value, and your healing is of high value. And may you just honor yourself, right? Any last words
Yes.
to me is a womb medicine woman as well. I'm sure you can share how someone can get in contact with you and also get to invest in the profound work that you do. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, two last words, right? One is we're talking about money here, guys, right?
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to work with this woman who, this is very rare. It's very rare to come across somebody who wants you to make money. Like Nonofang wants us to make money, guys. Even when I speak to her privately, she wants me to make money and to make truckloads of it. And when I share with her my results, she ululates and she celebrates. Guys, how rare is it to just have somebody in your corner who cheerleads you and wants you to make money, given just the conditioning and the programming in our world around money? So yeah, I just want to just pay gratitude and to celebrate you, Nunafang, for that.
Thank you so much.
It is so rare, and even that on its own is a healing, to come across somebody who holds space for you. I mean, yes, as coaches, as healers, we want our clients to excel, but we know the politics of money and how our nervous systems are wired around money. So for me, it's just been deeply healing to have you in my corner, to have you wanting me to make money, and with your skills and with your gifts, doing everything possible to help me to make money. Like, it's been a healing just on its own. So thank you so much for that, right? Yes, and in terms of, shall we give it a minute?
Thank you. I'm so, so grateful for you as well, to me. You changed my life by, choosing to come be the woman I work with and really affirming the work that I do. I'm so grateful for you, and God bless you for that. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so in terms of where people can connect with me, I am active here on Instagram, right? My handle is Tumelo Moreri, or you can just search Tumelo Moreri, you'll find me. And I also have a podcast where I teach, on matters of womb medicine, womb healing. And because my work sits at the intersection of psycho-spiritual healing and leadership, there are strong themes of leadership as well. We're doing psycho-spiritual healing and womb medicine for leaders, right? So definitely check it out, even if you might not identify as a leader, right? Because we all need this work. And in terms of how you can work with me, I have once-off 2-hour private healing sessions. And you can also work with me privately for either 3 months or 6 months, right? So you can either go to my profile, hit the link on my bio, or you can also go to my website, tumelomoreri.com, which has all the details. Yeah. So you can either book a session there or apply to work with me. And it would be such a joy and an honor to support you in your journey of healing and expansion, because we always expand when we do this work.
Of course. And something that the viewers should know about you is you are an amazing listener. To me, has the art of listening within her. She's an amazing listener. Through just experiencing some of her work, I have learned to connect with my body. I never knew my body could speak to me, and that it had its own story. So this is something that I know you will experience as well, and deeply connect with your body and heal your womb. So do invest in this work. Do honor yourself. To have it's we barely have people listen to us. We barely have people who have time. Usually, this is why sometimes you're like, "How are you?" You're like, "I'm good." Imagine someone who you don't have to say "I'm good" with, because there are so many words you could use to describe how you are feeling, and they understand exactly where to take you. so that you really get to understand your pain and process it, and also get clarity on the thing that you need in order to step into your leadership, So that's Tumelo Moreri for you, an embodied leader who's ready to lead you. To me, you
Thank
have
you
been
so much.
amazing. You have been amazing. We're deeply honored to have you as a guest here. Please do come anytime you feel like. We look forward to more conversations, to higher levels of making money. So yes.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Also, a lot of people did show up today, although we had an interference. And I'm seeing that people actually love the idea of making unfamiliar money. So yes, do make unfamiliar money even with your life. And inbox me and let me know. Tell us what is happening. I'd love for you to share some of the aha moments you've had as you were listening to me. What are some of the things that you got to even realize for yourself as she was explaining, her experiences and the shifts that she got to have? Do share with us as you hashtag replay. And thank you for honoring yourself and taking time to come, come be part of this conversation. There are obviously going to be now 2 parts of this conversation. I will share it immediately so that you get to indulge. And please do contact me. I'll make sure that her handle is also part of the caption so that it is easier to locate her. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's been a beautiful conversation.
It
Have an
has
amazing night
indeed.
and all the best with your trip. Be
Thank
amazing.
you.
I know you will.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Nunu.
Bye.